Hello, I'm meteorologist Brad Warner from Region Weather Live, your YouTube source for weather across the Dakotas and Minnesota. And for a little while longer, we remain under the ridge of this high pressure system here that's been bringing us a few isolated storms here and there throughout the afternoons. But watch here as the week goes along, that high pressure system slides on off to the west as this low pressure system continues to pivot out in the east coast. And then we get a little bit more of a reinforcement up from Canada that begins to shoot southward as well. That should help clear out some of the higher humidities as well as the higher temperatures going into the weekend. In fact, here on Tuesday, we're looking at those dew points diminishing already, and you can see they continued to push westward. And now as we get into Wednesday and Thursday, we've got this area of higher dew points within the Dakotas and a cold front that's going to be sweeping southward that should set off a few thunderstorms going more so into Thursday. But still for Tuesday, there will be an area of higher dew points with those dew points still in the 60s, as well as into Wednesday. And you can see that drier air kind of nosing in from the east. So going into Wednesday again, there should be this little boundary setting up between the higher dew points and the drier air, where some thunderstorms should develop later in the day. And then going into Thursday, we should have this frontal boundary that will set up and will also bring a chance of thunderstorms on Thursday as well. And then as we get more so into Friday, boy, look at those dew points really begin to diminish as that cold front sags just a little further southward. Those dew points, those 60-degree dew points getting compressed further down to the south on Friday. And then by Saturday, it gets even better. And look at that. Dew points generally up in the north in the 40s. We're going to be looking around 50s, maybe some 60s still down in the south. But still, it's going to be much more comfortable across the region. And so for Tuesday, kind of along that area again of the higher dew points, eastern Dakotas into western Minnesota is basically where we're going to be finding the best chance for that scattered thunderstorm activity to take place. And kind of like the last few days, you're going to see a few areas with some small hail associated with them, maybe some gusty winds, perhaps an isolated severe storm out there. And then as you get into the evening and overnight hours, those showers and storms will diminish. We'll kind of reload the gun again for Wednesday. And then as we get into Wednesday afternoon, those storms will develop once again, mainly across the eastern Dakotas, perhaps the far western parts of Minnesota. But with that drier air pushing in from the east, we probably have a decent chance of some storms developing kind of along that Red River Valley, Devil's Lake, James River Basin area. And there is a marginal risk out for that area because of some of those storms expected throughout the day on Wednesday. Again, where we're looking at hail of 1 to maybe 2 inches in the 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts associated with these storms that could develop into the afternoon hours. And of course, like clockwork, we get rid of the sun. Those showers and storms diminish through the overnight hours. We might see a few leak in across the north from Canada late into the night with some showers and storms moving in, but nothing expected to be severe there. And then for Thursday, as that frontal boundary kind of sags to the south, we might see a few storms pop up across the north and eastern parts of North Dakota in particular. Now, some of these storms, we'll see what happens if the Storms Prediction Center puts out at least a marginal risk. I wouldn't doubt it just because of that frontal boundary moving southward. Should be enough to pull up some of those higher dew points and higher temperatures along it to where we'll be able to get, again, those storms of with hail 1 to 2 inches, maybe 60-mile-per-hour winds associated with it once again on Thursday. Now, Friday, our main area of the higher humidity really is down in the southwestern parts of South Dakota. So that's going to be our best chance for seeing some storms is going to be down in that region. Meanwhile, we're going to be seeing a high pressure area, a surface high pressure moving in from the north, continuing to dry things out. And as we get into Saturday, that just pushes the humidity further south. We got a chance, or maybe a slight chance, of some storms once again down in the far southwestern parts of South Dakota for Saturday. And then as we get into Sunday, that high kind of pushes in even more, and really in the far southwestern parts of South Dakota is probably about the only area where we're going to be looking at the chance of thunderstorms by Sunday. With this area of high pressure just pushing the higher humidity further south, that ultimately is going to persist into the early part of next week. And it isn't until maybe more so Wednesday or possibly even into Thursday until we kind of start to reload and get some of those higher dew points further to the north once again. And it's also not until that time until we finally get some stronger winds out of the south-southwest towards the back end of next week. And so hopefully that'll change things from more of the popcorn type thunderstorms to maybe the more widespread storms that develop and push eastward through the evening and overnight hours going in Thursday night and into Friday. But as usual, the caveat, that's a ways out there, but the models have been consistent with this now to show that this pattern should shift a little bit to where we get more of this transitioning from these popcorn thunderstorm type of days where we get the storms develop during the afternoon to more of the traditional storms that develop and push from west to east. And so we'll take a look at the high temperatures, and we're still remaining in the 80s and 90s across the Dakotas as we get into eastern parts of Minnesota with the lower dew points. Those temperatures also cooling off a little bit as well, where the high is going to be in the mid to upper 70s generally. Thursday remains the same with highs in the west in the upper 80s to low 90s, out in the east more so in the mid to upper 70s to near 80. By Friday, we kind of start to see a little bit of a cool down with the highs in the low to mid 80s up in the north, and then a little closer to 90 down on the far south. And then look at Saturday, high temperatures nice and comfortable in the mid to upper 70s generally across the entire area, some 80s poking into parts of South Dakota. And by Sunday, pretty much everybody's going to be seeing highs in the mid 70s to around 80 degrees. So your Sunday is looking awfully nice. So some changes ahead, and that's probably a good thing. We're all kind of tired of the heat and humidity already. So we'll keep on top of those storms as they develop. So if you haven't done so already, as usual, hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the thumbs up button at the very least. Give it the old like, give it the thumbs up. Nail that like button. That helps my channel get recognized. And I appreciate everybody for tuning in and watching. And I appreciate all you members out there, especially the ones that have been with me from the start. Man, I really do appreciate that. So make sure you watch for them at the end of this video. I always scroll who the members are. And man, that really means a lot to me. So if you'd like to be a member, hit the little join button down below if you want to be a member of this channel. All right, everybody, for Region Weather Live, I'm meteorologist Brad Warner, and everybody have a good day.